You're watching Rurouni K95's anime review on Fatal Fury the Motion Picture. Hi Ruronis, this is your pal Rurouni K95 here. Today's anime review, we get to cover, once again, a video game-based anime. For today's anime review is Fatal Fury the Motion Picture. So, Fatal Fury the Motion Picture is a 1994 Japanese anime feature film based on the SNK video game series Fatal Fury, which is particularly one of the prequel games to, most significantly, King of Fighters. Originally released in Japan on July 16, 1994, and it was distributed by Shochiku Fuji as well. You guessed it. Yep. And let's review this anime movie. So let's begin. While exploring a cavern in Egypt, Shang Xinzan discovers a leg armor plate said to be one of the 6 pieces of the armor of Mars, only to be defeated by Laocoon Gaudeamus and his 3 henchmen, Penny, Howard, and Jamin. Before Laocoon attaches the part to his body and destroys the cavern, in Japan, Joe Higashi defeats Muay Thai champion Hua Jai and reunites with his friends, Terry and Andy Bogar, as well as Mai Shiranui, while being chased by a masked assailant, Sulia Gaudiamus. Laocoon's sister befriends with Terry Bogard after Big Bear is knocked unconscious by the assailant. Kim Kapuan defeats him, exposing the assailant as Cheng. Sulia reveals that she has searched for Terry since his battle with Wolfgang Krauser. Sulia, Terry, Andy, Mai, and Joe travel to Rhodes, where Sulia reveals that she is a descendant of Gaudeamus, a powerful warrior whose armor drew fear among Alexander the Great. One night, Alexander killed Gaudeamus, but the armor gained life after his death and reincarnated himself as Mars at this point. You guessed it. Before destroying a city. It was eventually defeated by 4 warriors. To prevent Mars from destroying cities again, the armor was broken up and hidden in different locations on the island. The 5 discover a series of cave paintings that indicate that martial arts moves such as Tung Fu Ru's Hurricane Punch and Krauser's Blitzball were influenced by Gaudeamus, whatever you want to pronounce it. Sulia reveals that she possesses healing powers due to her heritage and shares a mental blood with Laocoon. After Sulia discovers that the locations of the 3 remaining armor pieces, the group divides into 2 subgroups in an attempt to find them. While searching for the breastplate in Turkey, Terry, Joe, and Sulia discover an ancient chamber which was unearthed in the police station's destruction and realize that the breastplate is in Germany's Stroheim Castle, Krauser's former home. Joe is sent to Baghdad to Rendezvous with Andy and Mai attempting to find the breastplate. Terry and Sulia encounter Jamin and they escape, but Terry is seriously injured in the process. Meanwhile, Penny defeats Krauser's former henchman Lawrence Blood and acquires the breastplate. In Iraq, Andy and Mai found out that the site of the leg armor was raided when the Mongolians sacked Baghdad and brought their loot back to China as well. Realizing that Tung Fu Ru knew the location the armor piece before he died, their next would be Tung's old friend Jubei Yamada. After healing Terry using part of her life force, Sulia tells him that her and Laocoon's father was leading to an expedition to find the armor of Mars after discovering the first piece, the right gauntlet. However, a business partner killed the twins' father and wounded Laocoon, but Laocoon killed the murderer with the gauntlet. Since Laocoon developed an insatiable desire to complete the armor. Hearing the story, Terry vows to fight to protect Sulia from any pain or suffering. Yep. Meanwhile, in Japan, Andy and Mai go to Duck King's nightclub where they have arranged to meet with Jubei. As Jubei gives Andy the location of the leg armor, Andy encounters Geese Howard's staff wielding henchman Billy Kane, but is interrupted by Howard. After unsuccessfully trying to seduce Mai, Howard destroys the nightclub in China, however. Andy retrieves the leg armor when he and Mai are defeated by Howard, who defeats them and steals the armor piece. The five regroup in Rhodes, where Sulia tells them that Laocoon has not found the crown, and at this point, as the sixth armor piece, that they discover a secret chamber behind the cave paintings and use Sulia's pendant to reveal the Dead Sea in Israel as the location of the final piece at this point. In Jerusalem, as Andy practices techniques, Terry and Joe are knocked out while Mai and Sulia are cornered by Laocoon and his henchmen. Sulia agrees to go with her twin brother if he promises not to harm her friends at this point. Yeah. When Laocoon, Sulia, and Jamin flee, but Howard and Penny are easily defeated by Andy and Mai, the heroes head for the Dead Sea, where Laocoon raises an ancient temple. After being defeated by Terry's burning knuckle technique at the temple's entrance, Jamin tells him that he can save Sulia and Laocoon due to their bonds at this point. Laocoon finds the armor's crown mounted on the statue of Mars and crowns himself, causing the armor to encase him in vermeil and augment his powers and abilities. Andy, Joe, and Mai join in the fight, but are overpowered by Laocoon's newly acquired powers. At this point, what you see in Fatal Fury, the motion picture, like something like, what is going on? When Laocoon is able to finish the heroes, however, Sulia stabs her arm to injure Laocoon as his abilities have become more powerful. So has his mental bond with his sister. Sulia stabs herself in the heart, causing more pain to Laocoon as she dies. Sulia tells Terry to strike Laocoon's breastplate. Terry defeats Laocoon and reduces his armor to 4 coins, which assists him into the statue of Mars, reviving it was realizing that the armor was using him to revive Mars. Laocoon sacrifices himself to save his best friend Mai, absorbing the last of Sulia's life force. Terry combines it with his skills to attack Mars and eventually defeats him with his Buster Wolf technique. After the escaping the temple with Mai, Andy, and Joe, Terry throws his hat in the air in silence, which you end this anime movie with the song, particularly Yoake no Legendo, which is translated as Dawn of a Legend, performed by Kazukiyo Nishikiori, which is from the band, particularly from the Japanese group called Shonentai, as was translated as the English version as "Oh Angel," which is with the English lyrics by Canadian singer Warren Stanier, which you end this anime movie with this kick-ass song that you hear at the end credits for this particular anime, which is based on the video game by SNK as well. And that's my anime review on particularly Fatal Fury, the motion picture, because looking back on my previous anime review on Street Fighter II, the animated movie, because I didn't know that I have been reviewing video game-based anime before, because this is the first time I wanted to do it, since I have looked back on my previous anime review on Street Fighter II, the animated movie, and Street Fighter Alpha, the movie, which it all has got to me when it comes to reviewing an anime movie, which is basically the ones that were based on the video game as well. And I knew that this was directed by Masami Obari, who is known for his work on anime that I've looked back on my anime review, such as Gravion, which I've already covered last year. I also did Gravion Sway, forgot to mention that as well, which I didn't know, because looking back on my anime review on Gravion because I knew that Fatal Fury, the motion picture, was directed by Masami Obari, who is the director of the anime series Gravion, which I've already looked back on my previous anime review on Gravion, which is probably particularly about months ago, I guess, which is not too long ago, because when I think about the anime movie Fatal Fury the motion picture, I didn't knew that this anime movie was based on the video game by SNK because I mean this was particularly got an English dub by Viz Video or Viz Communications back in the 90s when it was first released on VHS in the mid 90s. What we did get a Blu-ray release that Discotek Media has released recently for this particular video game-based anime movie, which Fatal Fury the motion picture has, which is very unbelievable because I have been looking back on my previous movie review on Mortal Kombat, which it all has got to me and all. But anyway, so for Fatal Fury the motion picture, however, because I didn't know that it was directed by the anime director who worked on Gravion, which I've already looked back, and also he was also the designer who worked on Fatal Fury Legend of the Hungry Wolf and Fatal Fury 2 The New Battle, which I believe they were part of. They were, because I noticed the couple of those that I mentioned, like Fatal Fury 2 The New Battle and Fatal Fury Legend of the Hungry Wolf, were part of Fatal Fury Double Impact that was featured on Anime Abandon, which Bennett the Sage reviews anime, I guess, but you guessed it. I mean, this is up with me, and I did notice that this is the first time I get to do an anime review on Fatal Fury the motion picture for the first time because, I mean, to be fair, I mean, Bennett the Sage has checked this out on Anime Abandoned before me. I mean, think of it. I get to do a better review on this because I didn't know that this features Matt Hill from Ronin Warriors, as well as Miriam Sorai from Ranma Half, especially in the English dub for, most significantly, my anime review on, especially for the English dub on Fatal Fury the motion picture in this particular anime review, I guess. Which I didn't know that this features Matt Hill, who is from the anime series Ronin Warriors, in this particular anime on there, or also known as Legendary Samurai Troopers as well. And he was also the voice as Ed from Ed, Edd and Eddy, which I forgot to mention that as well. Come to think of it, Fatal Fury the motion picture, however, this is particularly almost to the extent as Street Fighter II the animated movie, because I didn't know that Fatal Fury the motion picture was featured on Anime Abandoned before I had to review this anime as well. But come to think of it, I can do a better anime review as I expect, because if you haven't seen Fatal Fury the motion picture, check this out. I mean, it's not like because I haven't reviewed Virtua Fighter anime adaptation yet, but we'll come to that for probably another time as well, another video game-based anime TV series as well. But anyways, for overall, Fatal Fury the motion picture has a kick-ass song at the end, the song "Oh Angel," because early both versions, if you want to hear it in English version or in its original Japanese version, it doesn't matter because both of them are great. I mean, I adore this movie. I mean, this is kind of like the extend to Street Fighter II the animated movie, which I've already looked back on my previous anime review where I did my first anime review on a video game based anime, I guess, as I expected as well. I mean, I gave this 10 out of 10 because if you haven't seen Fatal Fury the motion picture, check it out. So that's going to be it for my anime review on Fatal Fury the motion picture for today's anime review. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's my thoughts on this. And speaking of which, I know this was released on VHS and DVD by Viz Media back in the mid-90s. And it's also now available on Blu-ray that is released by Discotek Media, which is more recently, I guess, because this is the first time that this did got a Blu-ray release that is released by Discotek Media, which I didn't know until now, I guess. Subscribe for content, my anime plan, link in the description down below. You share this video on your Twitter, Facebook. If you have Twitter, Facebook account, and all the social media, be sure to give this video a thumbs up by clicking on the like button on this video. Feel free to leave the comments in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, RurouniK95. Feel free to join my channel, especially if you're new to my channel. Hit the notifications bell button, and keep it otaku for this anime review, and I've got another anime review coming up next, what I have here.
Stay tuned for my next anime review, because tomorrow I got another anime review from the 80s with tomorrow's anime review on Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Stay tuned for my next anime review on Super Dimension Fortress Macross, because you won't want to miss another anime review.